This is the first video in a series that I'm going to release on a Wednesday on how to combine the crocheting with some fabric. I've decided to make this the first video because in detail I've explained all the steps and I hope you will enjoy it. The part where one need to crochet the little flowers are, to my opinion, a bit long, but you can skip. I just wanted to show you how you can take any kind of yarn to make these small flowers, and also for the people that are beginner crocheters, I wanted to show how to make the inner circle of these daisies, where you actually just use ADC and then you will have 8 petals, and how you will still crochet in ADC in the second flower, but how you can then have 9 petals, what you do differently. So you that are experienced crocheters, you can surely skip how to make the daisies and immediately go to maybe the embroidery part. I'm not an expert at all on embroidery, but I like to do this few stitches. I really enjoy stem stitch and I enjoy to make a leaf. If there are therefore beginner embroiderers, if that's a word out there, I'm sure that they are still going to enjoy it because I demonstrate it slowly. Let us immediately jump in and see what you need for this purse. You need to have yarns that you can crochet the flowers with. It does not necessarily have to be thin yarns. You will see later in the video when I show you how to crochet these little daisies that I've actually taken even double knit wool, and when I split the wool, it was actually the most beautiful of the 3 daisies that I made was the one with the split wool. So you can see here also these were yarn split in half, and then I crochet with it. Sometimes some of the wools that you will see there, or the crocheting double knit wool, not really wool, but you understand what I'm saying, have 3 strands only. And I was a bit doubtful whether I can crochet even with just one of the 3 strands because they're normally not that strong, but it turned out to be the most beautiful of the 3 flowers. So you really don't need cotton yarns to make these small little daisies. This is a cheap piece of calico fabric that I had in my cupboard, and I've ironed on interfacing because as I now embroider the stems and the leaves, I do not want the stitches to show through to the front. There are still little bit of the water erasable pen that I can see, so I will later on just go over it once more with wet cloth. For the back of the purse, I have cut this to the same size now as the front, and as you can see, I've already now ironed on interfacing. Then you need 2 pieces of the same size as the purse front and back that you're going to use as a lining. It can be cotton. I have a variety of cheap fabrics in my cupboard. So here I've bought, I think, about 2 meters of this, almost like a satin kind of fabric, but it works quite well. So I'm happy with this. Sometimes I even use the less shiny part when I open the purse that will be seen inside, and sometimes I have the shiny part that one will see when you open the purse. Then you need a zip. Normally I cut this to size, and I have learned my lesson now that actually when I insert the zip, there must be enough space for a seam both sides. There must be at least 1.5 centimeter. When I say at least, not more, I would think 1.5 centimeter or slightly less, because in the past with my zipper pouches, I've made these seams so narrow and then it's hard to sew it up. What I normally use at the end of the zip are these zipper tabs. So I will cut it to size, especially I'm going to cut this one in front of you that you can see. Sometimes I remove that metal part, but I've tried this morning, it was too hard to remove, so it can stay there, but now I will put the zipper tab over, and then I will machine stitch there along that line, and then I will cut it. So I'll always just make sure that the metal parts, if I leave them, that the machine will not get stuck over the metal part. But you can see there, so then I position it there, so I know that this, I will probably just have the zipper tab that it goes up to there. Good. So now, how big must these zipper tabs be? I've made life easy for myself. I've just cut a piece of paper, and I always use zips that have this size. When I use zips that have this size, then I cut a piece of fabric this size. You do not have to have interfacing for the fabric, and then I cut it in half. So each zipper tab will be this size. And all that I do then is I first just fold it in half, and I iron it, and then I fold the two ends totally in, like that, and I iron it again. And that would be wide enough for a tab. I have some tags that I cannot resist when I go to craft shops. Though this is one of them, and it feels to me as if it's part of the playfulness of this little pouch. So I'm going to stitch it here to the back of the purse. Maybe in that position would be fine. So if you have something like that, stitch it on before you start now doing the purse. A D-ring is really optional, but it just makes the purse look a bit more professional. Now, the size of the tab for the D-ring, you normally look at the size of the D-ring. It seems it's like 12 or 13 millimeter. Let us make it 12 millimeter. I know my tables when it's 12. So 12 times 4 is 48 millimeter. So the width must be 48 millimeter. And then you fold it over again, like I fold the tabs. First in half, and then you fold it in again. Now, and then you will stitch along this line and that line, this side also. And then you have the perfect size like this. And we will put it in the one side seam when we sew up the purse. You can imagine it just makes the purse look a bit more professionally made. So here I've just a double knit yarn. So I've cut a piece, the same here. Here is a thinner yarn. There I again splitting it, as you can see. We're going to use this for the inner part of the flower, and now I just need to split this. There are two strands here together. We just remove that little bit, and there it is one strand only. And then this is a strong one. One can easily split it and embroider stems with it, or you can use it for the inner part of a flower. So let me just cut a piece and also split it. It will be 2 and 2. Sometimes on amigurumi animals, when I just wanted a small flower, I've used this yarn. Let me first just split it off camera. Good. There we have 2 strands, and there we have another 2 strands. This is ideal to then do stems with. I have here a 1.75 hook. And I have here 1.5. I'm going to start first trying with the 1.5. I'm going to use this for the center, and one of these also for the center of the flower. So let me take the others first out of the way. I don't want to crochet with this one, although let us try, let us do it. This is just one strand. We'll see how far we get. Most of these flowers have 8 petals. I didn't actually count them as I was doing it. I see, for instance, this one has 9. It doesn't actually matter. So let us just start. So I make a magic ring, real easy. You just make a little circle around your finger, then you press there on it, there where they overlap. Put the hook in, pull this thread through, still put your finger on it, and now you just make a chain stitch first. Good, there we go. Now I'm going to make 8 DCs into this magic ring. 1, 2, so I crochet over both strands. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there you have the perfect little center for a flower. Let me put it a bit more tighter, so 2 strands would not have worked because it will be too big. So let me pull this now out, and now we need to sew it so that that you can now crochet in it. So let us first deal with the middle one. So I'll just go into like that. And like that. Good, so there we can cut the yarn. And now we have this loop. And now you have a choice here. So, because you are going to crochet into this loop here, like that, and you're going to crochet now at this loop there. So you don't want actually the loops to be disturbed. So I'm just going to go in there and pull it tight. And this need to be worked away well. So see, you still need to see those 2 loops, and you still need to see those 2 loops when you work. And this mustn't come loose, because otherwise that loops come loose in which you need to crochet. So I'm going to go it a few times here. And the lovely thing is you can even keep, and I'm going to keep this, this tail, because you can use that to sew the little flower onto the fabric. So let us keep this tail. But now you need to remember that is where you went into to connect it. So there is your 1 loop to crochet into, and there's your other loop to crochet into. You go into 1 DC under both loops, pull the yarn through, make 5 chain stitches, and slip stitch back into the same DC. Slip stitch into the next DC, and again 5 or 6 or 7. You will see later how big you want the flowers to be. 3, 4, 5, and slip stitch back into this. Then again go into the next one, slip stitch into the DC, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Slip stitch back into it. And now I have to slip stitch into the last one under both loops. Pull it through this stitch also. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And slip stitch back in there. Now I can pull up this loop. You can see a perfect flower with such a bright, lovely center. I can now work in the loose ends, the yellow ones. I just make sure that it doesn't come loose again. Normally take 2, and then here also just work it into the center here at the back. You make a magic ring like that. there where the overlap, you just hold it there and you pull the yarn through, and you just need to make first a chain stitch to lock the ring. So there is the ring. Now you will crochet into it. So now I need to make 8 DCs into this magic ring. 1, 2, 3. So there we go. And then I can pull it tight, the loose end. Now I just want to show you the other way that you can also now connect the yarn. So you actually create another loop that can serve as a DC. So I take the long end to working end first. There you can see now I go under both these loops of the first DC. And from the top I go into this loop of the DC just made. And when I pull it tight, I've created another loop there. This loop is now the loop between this one and that one. And then this can also now be used. So this flower will have 9 petals. And now you just need to make sure that the loop doesn't open up. So you need to work this yarn away properly, sort of ground it somewhere here. I normally just go around stitches. I think that is fine. And then this middle one where I've pulled the circle tight, I just do this, go also around some other stitches, and then do that. It's not a very sharp needle because it is for yarn, for good. And you can even work then with one strand if you want to get it really to be small. So I'm still going to work now with 2 strands. Go under that one, pull the yarn through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go back into the same DC and slip stitch. Go into the next one, slip stitch, and 5 chains, and slip stitch back into the same DC, and then go into the next DC with a slip stitch, 5 chains, go back into the same DC with a slip stitch. And now I slip stitch into the last DC. Oh, will the yarn last? Yeah, we're just going to make it back into this one. And then I'm going to slip stitch into the next one, and then I can pull out the yarn. I actually just want to show you this bright pink that I want to crochet now, the petals with this bright pink. Let us see how this will look like, because that was also a double knit yarn that I've split, but this is just one strand. So let us do a center again with this color yarn. So let me split it off camera. Here it is. Let us just make the center first. Don't see this as wasted time, because by playing around you actually learn things about yarn and you see what you can use. So now we're with this one. You can see here it's a bit thicker, and then here it's again a bit thicker. It's not even the same thickness all over. So this is maybe not such a good yarn choice, but I wanted to show you that any yarn can possibly work. So let us go in. So now we take the pink and we need to make chain stitches. I still have my 1,5 millimeter hook. 2, 3, 4, 5. Slip stitch back into the same one. It actually makes lovely chain stitches. Slip stitch into the next one. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back into that one. Then you slip stitch into the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Into the same one again at the base with a slip stitch. This is going to be lovely. I can see it. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You must please tell me what you think. I would like to hear comments. The last one. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go back into the same one. And then remember, then we have said now we slip stitch into the very first one where we started the first chain stitch. So I slip stitch in there and then I can go back with my needle in there once I've pulled it out. This is an absolutely gorgeous one. This is a very cheap, just calico fabric. I did iron on some interfacing and I still didn't cut it to size because I want to use an embroidery ring first and embroider all the stems, and after that I'll cut it to size. What I also need to take into consideration, as the seams will be there and up here also, so this one is almost too high, and here at the bottom also there will be seams. I'm just going to use a water erasable pen, and then I'm going to make stems for the flowers. I have these 4 green colors that I'm going to use for the stems. I'm going to start now to draw the stem, and when I've drawn one and I see it is in place, then I'm going to just put a dot of glue at the bottom that it can't come loose. So I'm going to do that kind of thing. There's one. This stem I want to give it to this direction. I also want to put in leaves, but I think I must just do the leaves at the end. So you can see that because of the flowers that I do not want to be here near the seams, I'll rather go with the stems here to the end of the seams. Something like that. And then I want some stems to again be here to the top. This is now when you think that you're too afraid to start, just do it and see how it turns out. I am sure it will be good, and I'm not really an embroiderer. I enjoy the basic stitches. See, there's now almost too many in the same direction. I'm just going to make one now in this direction. Yeah, that's good. I am quite happy. I don't even think I'm going to need glue because I in any case want to give a few stitches to make sure that it is now attached. I just want to see that the stem comes to the center of the flower. And what I'm going to do is just now, as the flowers lie here, I want to just keep the sequence, that I know which ones I've positioned where. Good, so there it is, and this I'll keep separate, and now I can just first do the stems. As you can see, the centers of the flowers are not all the same color, but now I want the stems to be matching. So now I know this color is that one, so I can now do a matching stem there. So for the stem stitch, I'm going to start here, always at the bottom of the stem, and then I'm always going to have the curve towards me. Now you go down the length that you want your stitches to be. So you did come up there, the knot is here at the back. Now you go down there. And you come up in the middle of the stitch from the back on the line. So you come up in the middle of the stitch. Pull it tight. Now you go down again a stitch length. And you see what my thumb does. And then you come up here just adjacent to where you did go in. Or you can even come up right there where you went in. And now you pull it tight. Then again, you go down. You keep the stitch lengths the same. And you come up there where that stitch is. Pull it tight. Again, go down here. Keep the stitch length. It is actually such an easy stitch to do. And come up. Again, go down here. And then come up there. This is actually addictive, I must say. I'm sure it will be. And now that I'm here at the center of the flower, because I've used now the same color that I have used in the center of the flower, I can now take the flower and I can stitch it here. So I take the flower. You can see. And now I will just go up and down here alongside this. Like that. Then come out a bit further, like there. Go back in there. But the stitches actually sit. You want the stitches to be next to each other, that it keeps the little flower well in place. This one was a bit too long. Nobody will see it, so the stitches don't touch there. And you see why it's quite handy to then use the same color of yarn, sort of that was the center of this flower. And we can even still use French knots also there for the middle of the flowers. We will do that at the end. I just love it. So there it is attached. And now I can sew in the ends, but nobody will see what's happening here at the back. Because at the end, this zipper pouch will get a lining, and then it's totally hidden. So there it is, and now I can cut the yarn. So I go again here at the bottom in. Well, now I want to go from this side because I said I want the round to face me. I just found it easier that way. And I go again in and I come out halfway. And you can see you don't need an embroidery ring. And now I just go in and come out there. So we call this the stem stitch. What an enjoyable process. I've attached all of them, and as I was busy with them, I was thinking this is actually how life is. It's never flawless, because here you can see that as I went along, I've changed the position of some of the stems. And if you are one of those personality types that just want to figure out everything before you even start something, then maybe it's good to just go into embroidery or crocheting or whatever, and you will see as the process carries on, you can make plans. Now I'm going to draw the leaves, and then I'm going to show you how one can embroider one leaf. Remember, I do it for the fun. I'm not an expert. If you think you need the ring, the embroidery ring, then you can put it on at this stage. So I'm just going to keep it flat and not pull these too tight. So I just sort of have an imaginary middle line that I work towards, as you can see. Then every time from here, but this imaginary, the middle line, I actually need to put the stitches really near to each other here. They just come out underneath each other. Then again that side, and just there, straight below the previous one. This I've done now with 3 strands, but you can even embroider with the yarn that you're going to crochet the little flowers with. I will show you that still. There is one opening there. If you can, I don't know whether you can spot it. I think if I put another stitch in there between those, I can always undo it, but let us see. Yes, that makes me happy. And now we can just take it to the back. So I have used here 3 strands of the 6 strands. So I think this is thick enough for a leaf. Now I'm going to make the others. Let me make one more. Let us take this one that has a dark green stem. And now I normally start here in the middle, or a bit above the middle, I would think. There you can see probably from there. And now I will go to the top. And then I come down just below that stitch. It must really be just below that stitch I come out. And now I go to this side, position it a bit further along the line, and I come again out here in the middle line, just under the stitch, like that. Where did it get stuck now there? Now I go to the other side, and I do the same. Just go a bit lower, and come out again here, just below that middle stitch. There. Then this side, and again try to come out just under that stitch, that there's almost no space between them. Then again to this side. As you can see, for these kind of projects I'm not using an embroidery ring. Surely if you do a lot of embroidery, I can understand that an embroidery ring is necessary. Now again to that side. Just check where's my middle line again. This is for me the easiest way to make a leaf if I don't crochet a leaf. Just below again that middle stitch. Let's see where I am now here. I just want it to touch the stem. Remember, this is not about perfect embroidery. This is just something to enjoy because this zipper pouch is going to be used. It's going to be an everyday use. It's not like a embroidered painting that you're going to hang against a wall. So if you are a first-time embroiderer, then this project is ideal for you. Look how lovely it is. So I'm now going to enjoy it and do all the other leaves. And if I think a flower needs 2 leaves, then I will put another small one at the other side of the stem. Now I'm going to erase with just a clean wet cloth all of these extra blue lines that you see here. Sometimes I did not fill the whole space of where I've drawn the leaf. I hope I have now erased them all. I've cut off now the excess length of the zip, and then I've inserted the tabs. You can look at the seams also. This will be how wide my seams are going to be. And then I'm going now to stitch along that end and stitch along that end also. I've put the tag in place and I will now also stitch along the edges. And then I'm also going to stitch along the edges of this tab for the D-ring. This is quite a helpful hint because if you make this side, I'm going to stitch in this direction. If you make this side longer, then it's easier for the sewing machine to immediately just feed onto it. Later you can cut off the excess. So you can even make that dimensions wider. So make sure that it's never the size of the zip, because then it's hard. The machine can't feed the fabric under it. It must be longer. Then you later cut off the excess. I'm going to do this and then also put one of the lining. I've now finished stitching it. Now, as you can see, it looks like this. So the shiny part will be inside the pocket. I'm now first going to steam it flat, and after that I'm going to top stitch it again with a stitch just from there up to here. To top stitch it is quite important because that will ensure that when you open or you close the zip, that the lining will not get caught in the zip. I have now top stitched it. Now I put the back. Here you can see the back upside down, and the side seams of the back must surely now match with the side seam of the front, but here not here at the top. So the zip must be at the top, then I just fold it over like that. And now I put this again with the 2 inner parts must face each other like that. And now I will just pin it in place there, that all these, the zip and all these seams line up there. And then I will again machine stitch it just from this end up to this end of the tab, stopping here. This is how it looks now. Now I just need to steam it again flat, the seams here, and then top stitch from there up to there. As you stitch along, when this slider of the zipper is in your way, you actually just lift your zipper foot and you first just slide it to the other side that it's out of the way, then you can carry on. Lower the zipper foot and carry on sewing. This is now when we're going to now sew the front to the back and also the 2 linings to each other. So now I need to insert this D-ring with its tab. I want it to be here at the side where the slider is when it's closed, and here at the top, round about here. When I look also where the seams will be, the seam will be here. So I think this is the correct position. So it will go through there. So this part will be seen from the outside. So I'm going to clip it here in position, and I think I must first now stitch over it somewhere here that it just stays in this position. I can then also cut off the excess. There it is in place. Now it can't shift when we stitch the two sides together. What is now really important is to first open the zip. Now we take the two sides, the back and the front, and we want to pin that together here, and we fold in these seams. And we're going to stitch from here all around. What you can see here also is while you stitch these, the zipper tabs is pushed to that side. So now I can just put here a clip in, and I go first all around and check that the two are aligned. This side also, push the zipper tab to that side to make it easy. Take this out of the way. You can always also put a clip here to just have it out of the way, like there. And now you push these on top of each other, put another clip in, and you will machine stitch now from here all around to close this side totally. So put it flat, clip it together, and then sew it up. This side is now done, so I'm going to trim here the bottom. And now we can put these two together. And remember, so there the zip is still open. Now for these two, you now, when you want to stitch them, you push this. So let me just take this a bit out of the way, the slider, and now I push it inside. That will help. The moment when I put that zipper tabs inside, then these two seams would easily align. And the seams are all stitch still with the zipper foot, because then it comes as near as possible here to the tabs. So put in a clip in, and we will do that at the other side as well, and we will align these sides. And now when you stitch it, you need to leave an opening. I normally leave a wide enough opening here at the bottom, so I will come up to this point and I stitch a bit back. So just see that they align. And also I do stitch the bottom seam and even the side seams a bit wider than these ones. So I make sure that for the lining, the seams are wider, so I stitch it deeper in. So I'll do the same here. I'll push the zipper tab inside so that it's there, and you can immediately see then these seams come and line up. Trim the corners. Now it looks like this. Now I can just turn it. Let me show you. So now through this opening, I need to turn the pocket now first like this. So see, the opening must be big enough, then it goes quickly. So what I first want to do now is just open the corners, and then we're going to turn it the right way, that this is on the inside. So you take just a needle or you take pins and you just open the corners, this side as well. It is actually, that's fine. And now we can turn it the other way around. This is, in any case, we're going to take this out again, because remember, we still need to stitch to close it here. But I put my hand in, and now I just push the seams out, and then I can also now use scissors or something to go into those places and just push it out. So let me do that with scissors. So I go here through the opening and I go into that corners. There you can see, and I just push them out. You go in here with the scissor and you just do this kind of thing that it's neat here. So let us do it this side also. I'm very pleased with what I see. Good, and now we just take this lining out and we just need to now stitch it that it can close here. So I'll put a clip on. Put also a clip on this one. Stretch it and stitch it at the top. Here you can see I've closed it now, and now I can just push it in. Now it looks like this inside.